Bruno, why was Vince McMahon Sr., Vincent J. McMahon, a great wrestling promoter?
Why he was a great wrestling promoter?
Why?
Well, for one thing, I like to think that he did recognize decent talent, really good talent, and I think that he would if he believed that they were good talent, he would, give them every opportunity to prove themselves. You know what? Other than that, I don't know what makes a great promoter. I really don't know. I know this, that a lot of people didn't know, but it's a fact, and this is not bragging. I know that when I came in there, things were not well. With Buddy Rogers, I explained earlier how great he was, but the things were really, when I came in and I started seeing different talent, I would tell him, I saw so-and-so and I thought it would be great. I have to say that he was very good that way. He would trust my judgment and allow, like for example, the first time I went to Australia, I saw Toru Tanaka there. And I went to Japan, I saw this young, good-looking blonde guy, Bobby Duncan. And I said, hey, this guy's a good talent, I'd watch him. And when I would tell McMahon about these people, he would, so I'd say that it was good because he trusted my judgment and he would bring them in. There were a few times we had fused. He didn't want to bring Carl Koch in, he didn't want to bring Big Bill Miller in because they had had an incident with Buddy Rogers. I told McMahon that he had to understand that the fact that he may have liked Buddy, but Buddy did have enemies, and these two were amongst them. And I said, I'm the guy's going to be wrestling them. I said, I think that they could be okay. Of course, well, Bill Miller is the guy that I wrestled a lot because Gotch was a babyface. But so he gave me that, to bring it there. And I think that's a good promoter. Instead of being one of these stubborn, mule-headed guys saying, no, and I only bring people in. No, you know what I mean? If he trusted your judgment, then I think that makes for a good promoter.
Harley, what made Sam Muchnick a great promoter?
Sam had an edge on most all the other promotions during that period of time because, as Bruno just said, the NWA title was headquartered in St. Louis, and Sam had a great opportunity to pull top talent out of 25, 30 different places, and he'd bring them in and he'd have them there for like a 3-month cycle and move on to the next. It operated quite a bit like the Garden did. The Garden had cycled, God, I forget who was up there around you at that point in time, but they had a lot of similarities, and the opportunity for talent was there for both of them. So kind of a flip of a coin with them.
Speaking of bookers, Harley, what makes a great booker?
Imagination. I booked Atlanta when it first went nationwide. I booked Kansas City, I booked St. Louis. And if you can keep from putting yourself in that position, that top slot all the time, and bring in people around it. It's really simple, or used to be simple to do. I'm sure right now the way Vince's situation is relatively simple for them. They just have to keep trying to develop new stuff to show you. In our day, you could get new stuff from anywhere in the world. A booker back then was relatively simple.
Bruno, what makes a great booker?
Well, the little booking that I did on my own when I had the Tri-State Wrestling Promotions in part of Pennsylvania, high in West Virginia. To me, it was easy in the sense that I felt that I knew good talent. And if I had access to that good talent, I thought it was rather simple to make the matches. Good talent with good talent, and I saw to it they got the proper TV exposure. I maintained that TV in Pittsburgh. I promoted there for 8 years. And also I was doing a good bit, I was never the booker for the WWF, but Vince McMahon, he had an office in Washington, D.C., and he would call me in the other room, and he would go over with me every Thursday, because we used to have live TV back in those days. He used to go over with me everything about, like, for example, most of my programs with the talent, they were mine. And he would, would work together, let's put it that way, about these programs in different cities in the Northeast.
Speaking of wrestling television now, Bruno, is it better generally for wrestling TV to feature and highlight the big stars in what's come to be known as squash matches, or to have competitive matches on television where maybe the stars would have a tougher time dispatching of the opponents?
Well, the way wrestling is today, I think it's more or less like that. I mean, from what I hear, because I don't watch it, but everybody tells me, like Raw, I'm speaking WWE because I don't know the other organizations, but Raw or the other SmackDown, whatever they call, I hear all the time about these big matches that they put in there all the time. If you're going to do it that way strictly for television purposes, whether it's because of the advertisers that pay big bucks, I mean, I don't know the business today, but in my day, and Harley might have a different take on this, that wouldn't have been a good idea at all. Because if you put all those kind of matches on TV all the time, why would people have to go to the Garden or any arena? What for? They're seeing it over there. But when they see the Kowalski smash somebody down, and then if Bruno is the guy on top at the time, he's going to wrestle Bruno. Well, then the audience can't wait to come to the arena, because they want this loudmouth guy who's beat the heck out of a nobody, and he's saying this is what he's going to do to this guy. And so the success of the arena was great. To me today, the arenas, you might as well say, are dead, because the way they're doing the business, they're throwing everything on TV. And like I said, I don't pretend to understand if it's because they get big advertisers, pay some bigger bucks. But to me, it loses what I loved about wrestling. To me, wrestling is arena. Wrestling belongs to the arena, and there's nothing like it feeling to see a packed house and to hear those people go, like they used to go. That's gone. Will it ever come back? Not in my lifetime. I know that it won't.
Harley, TV philosophy, squashes or competitive matches?
During our era, it had to be on the television. You saw the guy that you wanted to see win, or the guy that you wanted to see get beat. Never ever got beat there. He was as rough could be, or as good could be, and you tuck that into your arenas. Right now, they can do it however they want to do it, because there's only one around. In 90% of the wrestling world, there's only one big, huge conglomerate, and we all know who that is.